We've all been there. You lock eyes with someone across the room, or you're having a great conversation, and your brain immediately starts running a frantic, silent calculation. Are they actually interested, or are they just being polite? Pop culture has trained us to solve this by looking for a single magical sign. We're taught that if someone flips their hair, touches their face, or gives a specific smile, we have our answer. Isolating a specific gesture like that is dangerous. If you assume someone is into you simply because they adjusted their jacket or laughed at a joke, you are setting yourself up for a highly uncomfortable, embarrassing misinterpretation. Relying on a single physical movement is mathematically indistinguishable from guessing. It leaves you entirely blind to the actual biological mechanics of human communication. Professional behavioral investigators evaluate intent entirely differently. Instead of hunting for one random movement, take a look at this graph. They ignore the isolated noise and look for a specific matrix of biological signals clustering together. To read that matrix, you first have to establish a baseline, the normal behavior for that person in their current environment. You have to account for their culture or whether they just have a naturally tactile personality. This method requires us to look for moments where multiple physiological signals overlap and spike simultaneously above that baseline threshold. By identifying these clusters, we can begin to see a clear pattern of intent. The first layer of this matrix relies on distance signals. Long before two people speak, the human brain utilizes sustained, returning eye contact to establish a target of desire, continuously checking to see if the interest is mutual. But the eyes are easy to control. The second, more revealing signal is instinctual hip orientation. Look at the schematic. The torso and hips house our vital organs and are deeply tied to survival instincts. Just like a hungry person will unconsciously angle their body toward a table of food, a person's lower body will point directly toward their primary point of interest. They might look away to talk to a friend standing right next to them, but their hips and legs will remain rigidly locked onto the actual target across the room. That lower body alignment acts as a subconscious biological compass. It betrays exactly where a person's focus truly lies, well before any verbal interaction happens. Things change rapidly once that physical distance closes. When two people finally enter close proximity, the biology of the interaction shifts. This brings us to the third signal, a psychological concept known as self-pacifying gestures. Standing close to someone you find appealing triggers an autonomic anxiety flare in the nervous system. The body literally becomes stressed by the proximity. As you can see in this medical illustration, humans attempt to subconsciously soothe that internal anxiety through self-manipulation. They might start rubbing the back of their neck, massaging their own hands, or repetitively adjusting their clothes. You shouldn't read these physical tics as general awkwardness. They are physiological proof that your physical presence is actively disrupting their normal baseline state. The final, most intimate layer of the behavioral matrix is physical contact. The fourth signal is a sudden, measurable increase in the frequency of touch. This indicates the brain's overriding desire to collect sensory, tactile information about the other person. The fifth and highest level signal involves where that touch occurs. This heat map outlines erogenous zones, areas like the neck, ears, hips, and the back of the legs, which are biologically wired for heightened physiological response. When physical contact naturally migrates to these specific areas, it signals an advanced state of physiological arousal and romantic intent. Any uninvited or one-sided touch in these areas is a criminal violation. This data is only valid for physical contact that is mutual and mirrored. These signals only hold analytical value when they are invited, forming an organically escalating part of a shared dynamic between two people. Mutual tactile escalation confirms the entire behavioral cluster. It is the moment where distant biological instinct translates into undeniable shared intent. You no longer have to guess at random, isolated movements. You can now read social interactions as a layered dashboard of biological data. But remember the core rule: eye contact, hip orientation, self-pacifying gestures, touch frequency, and erogenous zones mean absolutely nothing on their own. They must be analyzed as a unified cluster. And you must always process that data through the mandatory filter of a person's individual and cultural baseline. By observing the whole picture, the biological symphony of attraction becomes visible and measurable in real time. Those who understand these mechanics see the world of human connection with